News, our top stories. Zanzibar and UNDP determined for further cooperation.
I really thank you for all the support that has been given to PDB so far.
Cargo plane arrival crucial for economic development.
Before we were forced to export the cargo through using other airlines. Now Air Tanzania is ready.
Good evening, I am Nasa Kingu. Just a reminder, you can also follow us live via our YouTube channel, TBC Online, and also get all the latest news through our Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter pages at TBC Online. President of Zanzibar, Dr. Hussein Ali Mwinyi, says his government continues to implement various projects to stimulate economic development and improving living standards of the people. Dr. Mwinyi made the remarks at the State House in Zanzibar when he met and held talks with the resident representative of the United Nations Development Program, UNDP, in Tanzania, Christine Musisi. Zawja Swale has more details.
President of Zanzibar, Dr. Hussein Ali Mwinyi, said that the revolutionary government of Zanzibar acknowledged support of UNDP to various projects in the island.
End of the day, all these programs and projects, and they will definitely need the resources. And we are looking to get these resources from different angles. We have the budget, the government budget, but we are also now talking to a lot of funding agencies. I have decided to go and look for other sources of funding apart from the budget. And I really thank you for all the support that has been given to PDB so far. And
President Dr. Mwinyi identifies to the UNDP representative that the support extended to the Presidential Delivery Bureau, PDB, has been beneficial and critical to the Bureau. He insisted the government has put its focus in the Bureau without relying on the national budget.
Let me also thank you for the 6 initiatives, these programs that you are doing. They are extremely important for us. And I thank you for the information. You know, some of these things I did not know. Yes, I thought there are things being done, but I didn't know they've reached the stage, and you know, you are into it. You know, your team is working with us closely, so we really appreciate that. Thank you very much. Yeah.
On the other hand, the UNDP representative, Christine Musisi, congratulates the President Dr. Mwinyi for his leadership and for promoting peace and stability in Zanzibar, which have proved to be imperative to the economic development of Zanzibar. She clarified that currently the program is implementing 6 projects in Africa, including 3 in Tanzania, where in Zanzibar, the program works with the government in implementing projects to combat the crime in Zanzibar, collaborating with the Office of Director of Public Prosecutions under the funding of the British government and the European Union.
We hope to strengthen our presence with the head of office once the Blue Economy program is up and running. So with that, really, we are very happy. And I really wish to appreciate the allocation of national budget to the PDB. The positions are filled. It's a real commitment, and also congratulations to the results that we are seeing so far of the work of the PDB.
The Minister of Works and Transport, Professor Makame Mbarawa, says the arrival of the cargo plane will play a crucial part in the nation's economic development. He made the remarks in Dar es Salaam, revealing that before the arrival of the plane, more than 24,000 tons of Tanzanian goods were transported through neighboring countries, and only 420 tons were transported through the local airports.
As you know, that we're expecting to receive our first brand new freighter, Boeing 767-300, on 3rd of June this year. And the capacity of this aircraft will take around approximately 54 tons. And It will go different destinations, especially India. We expect to go to Guangzhou, China, and the other destination, DRC, Harare, and the other areas.
Boeing 767-300F has capacity to carry 54 tons of cargo at once and is expected to reduce cost of cargo transportation for investors.
For Air Tanzania and also for our investors, I would like to take this opportunity to tell our investors and business people that before we are forced to export the cargo through using other airlines, now Air Tanzania is ready to give the best service for these investors.
President Dr. Samia Suluhu Hassan is expected to grace the arrival of the plane this Saturday. The plane is the first cargo plane bought by the government. Many investors from Nordic countries say they are pleased with the current business environment in the country. Speaking in Dar es Salaam during the Nordic Business Seminar and the launch of the Nordic Business Climate Report, the investors mentioned political stability to be one of the key features for the conducive business environment. The occasion also witnessed the launch of the Business Climate Survey of Nordic companies in Tanzania 2022-2023. Faida Ngaga was there and she has prepared the following report.
The government of Tanzania has invested considerable efforts to stimulate the private sector development. The 2022-2023 Business Climate Survey examined perceptions about the lived experiences of Nordic firms operating in the current business environment. And here, the Executive Director of Report, Dr. Donald Mari, provides a brief insight about the report.
In 2019-2020, Report, in collaboration with the Nordic embassies, carried out a survey of Nordic firms to understand the opportunities and challenges for their continued investments in Tanzania. The findings of the survey were discussed in various dialogues and shared with senior policymakers. We are very pleased to note that some of the recommendations were implemented by the government, and the dialogue between the government and the private sector continues to strengthen day by day. This is central to enhancing the trust needed by both parties. In 2022-2023, Report conducted a repeat survey of the Nordic firms to obtain their perceptions and experiences of what have changed and what have not.
The Minister of State, President's Office, Labor, Economy and Investment, Zanzibar, Mudrik Soroha, here explains the strides that the government of Tanzania has made in creating and enabling a business environment.
It's done a lot of initiatives to improve the business environment, especially the six-phase government. On that mark, I'd also like to take this opportunity to sincerely congratulate Her Excellency Madam Dr. Samia Suluhu Hassan, the President, for her deliberate and affirmative approach in recognizing the importance of private sector and foreign direct investment as a key driver for growth and economic advancement of the country. We understand that investment is a very competitive environment, and you also have to have proper legislation, proper policy frameworks, proper regulations in order to be able to attract investments. And the government has taken stock of that, which is why they've introduced a new investment act that caters to the current prevailing environment.
Looking back, the ambassador of Norway to Tanzania, Elizabeth Jacobson, says she has witnessed the Nordic firms growing year by year in Tanzania, and that the Nordic region is determined to nurture trade and business partnerships with Tanzania.
Between our countries. Over the last years, we have seen a Tanzania that is re-engaging on the international arena. Foreign direct investment flows have increased, and the government of Tanzania, both on mainland and in Zanzibar, is committed to improving the business and investment climate even further.
The business environment remains a significant matter of concern to many economies all over the world, given its crucial role in socio-economic transformation. Furthermore, both Tanzania and Nordic firms have shown a strong will to cooperate and engage in more fruitful partnerships and collaboration for favorable outcomes to both parties. Faida Ngaga, TBC News.
Thank you very much, Faida Ngaga. Now from the commercial city, Dar es Salaam, we move all the way to the capital city, Dodoma, where the Speaker of the Parliament, Dr. Tulia Ackson, calls on the government through the Ministry of Energy to work on challenges that are holding back the implementation of various activities within the ministry, including the fuel marking, urging to source the technology locally. Dr. Tulia made the call when she attended the Energy Week exhibitions in Dodoma.
We desire to see that you work on the small nuisances holding back your efforts in achieving the things showcased in this huge exhibition quickly. An example of such things is that it seems that if certain decisions were made, we would have taken huge steps forward. There is something that has been talked about for a long time by honorable members of parliament, and you have probably already started working on it. This fuel marking argument. If you have been able to do this kind of innovation that I have just seen, every pavilion has its own creativity. I believe you also have the ability to design fuel marking so that the members of parliament will stop discussing the money used for these markings, that comes from abroad.
Furthermore, Dr. Tulia urges the ministry to ensure the reliable supply of electricity to the towers in rural areas to reduce the use of generators, while the Minister of Energy, January Makamba, says the government will continue to provide education on the use of clean energy.
The efforts I saw here by the Rural Energy Agents, REA, how they have covered most of the villages and are now thinking of covering all the villages in the next fiscal year. When all the villages are covered, I urge you to start with the neighborhoods where the government has already invested in telecommunication towers so that citizens can benefit from this investment, including a drop in mobile service cost. If you do not reduce the cost, it means that the investment is not useful. In order for it to be useful and generate income, there is a need to reduce the amount that citizens spend on telecommunication services, and you are the ones who can reduce it by connecting the towers with electricity.
One of the tasks that I'm working on is to encourage and educate about clean cooking energy, because it is something that has not been talked about a lot. And one way to encourage is to go in front of people, put them into a group, explain to them about clean cooking energy, the effect of unclean energy, the type of clean energy, and when possible, provide them with the clean energy to emphasize its importance and safety.
Remaining in Dodoma, the British government has donated £5 million, equivalent to approximately 15 billion Tanzanian shillings, for the implementation of the second phase of the Tanzania Social Action Fund, TASAF. The support was handed over in Dodoma between the Permanent Secretary of the Ministry of Finance and Planning, Dr. Natu El Mamri Mwamba, and the British Ambassador to Tanzania, David Konkar. Speaking after receiving the support, Dr. Mwamba says the implementation of the Tanzania Social Action Fund progresses well with transparency and accountability.
The British government has given us approximately £5 million, which equates 15 billion Tanzanian shillings, to support the Tanzania Social Action Fund, TASAF, in helping the underprivileged families, a project that is progressing well.
The British Ambassador to Tanzania, David Konkar, says that United Kingdom and Tanzania collaborate closely in various areas of development, and his country will continue to support Tanzania in its endeavors to improve the living conditions of the people.
And is Tanzania's great friend, including the social security assets. We are honored to work with the Tanzanian government to help the underprivileged community in the country.
The Acting General Secretary of the Association of Local Government Authorities, Alat Mohamed Maje, says domestic tourism is rising, insisting that local governments to be exemplary in promoting tourism. He made the call during the tour to Ngorongoro Conservation Area by the members of the association. Here is a report prepared by Sechilela Kongola, read by Rose Shayo.
Cultural tourism proves to be part of tourism that can be used to motivate other tourist attractions in the country.
You find an individual living near the zoo because they are used to see the animal. It is seen to be normal, but imagine foreigners coming all the way from their country to visit it. And it is a very good thing We want to set an example, but also need to learn through it.
When we return to our councils, we are going to motivate our citizens so that they come to visit the park and support the President's Royal Tour. As you have seen, after the launch of the Royal Tour, every Tanzanian has gained an understanding of the meaning of tourism.
It is to continue to mobilize as we are doing now, and we are expecting 700 tourists today in the Ngorongoro Conservation. We will continue to mobilize them because 75% of Ngorongoro is for tourism.
Stakeholders, institutions and organizations are advised to create conducive environment for domestic tourists to visit the country's tourist attractions.
It is one of the ways to encourage all Tanzanians to be able to participate in domestic tourism so that they can visit these reserves and know the value of their country.
The management of Ngorongoro Conservation Area expounds the increase in number of tourists visiting the area after the issue of COVID-19. Before the outbreak of COVID, Ngorongoro received more than 700,000 tourists, and for this season, until today, we have been able to get the same number of tourists. We expect to receive more tourists, approximately 1,500,000.
The arrival of our leaders here is very important, and I believe that when they return home, they will mobilize their people, and in that way, we will get tourists from Tanzania.
More than 700 allied leaders have visited the Ngorongoro Conservation Area as part of promoting tourist activities.
Director General of the Small Industries Development Organization, SIDO, Engineer Professor Sylvester Mpanduji, says that capital and proper packaging are the main challenges faced by many small-scale entrepreneurs in the country. Here is a report prepared by Tatu Abdallah, read by Apasieringo.
Engineer Mpanduji made the observation in the Njombe region during a meeting to introduce the region as the host of this year's National Small Industries Exhibition, which is expected to start on October 21st to 31st.
First, capital is a big challenge, and the other is packaging. Most of the package we have are similar to the extent that a businessman can make its own tomato sauce and pack it in a bottle similar to another who makes tomato sauce. This leads to people believe that tomato sauce is made by one person.
Professor Mpanduji has said that the Njombe region has great agricultural opportunities that are sold as raw assets instead of being sold as added value.
Most of the product are raw material produced in Njombe and transported as they are. I think the time has come because if we refer to what the president said, the current Tanzania should be industrial. We have come to Njombe to encourage them to change raw material and make them into value-added product.
The Njombe District Commissioner Kisa Kasongwa urges the business community in Njombe to be ready to fully participate in the exhibitions which aim to promote their businesses. National SIDO exhibitions are a great and a rare opportunity to us. All entrepreneurs, industries, stakeholders, and citizens in general will find various technologies, including machines, to increase the value of agricultural products at this exhibition. And the SIDO manager in Njombe, Isdori Kayenze, says the region has more than 600 industries, and the upcoming exhibition will help them to learn new technologies from other regions.
We recognize only 2 factories that make packagings. There is a huge gap, but it is still an opportunity for people to invest in packaging.
The Permanent Secretary for the Northern Province of Zambia, Bernard Mpundu, calls on Zambia and Tanzania to come up with a strategic plan to invest in the Kalambo Falls, which are owned by the 2 countries. The Permanent Secretary gave the call shortly after visiting the falls and was pleased with the way Tanzania has invested in the infrastructure enabling convenient navigation and the view of the falls. Jose Cheo has more details from Rukwa region.
The Kalambo Falls is the second highest waterfalls in Africa. This waterfalls is the border between Tanzania and Zambia. The delegation of the Republic of Zambia, led by the Permanent Secretary for Northern Province in Zambia, had the opportunity to visit Kalambo Falls, while on the Tanzania side.
There is need for both countries, Zambia and Tanzania, to start thinking seriously on how to invest in this whole area, because this falls is a common feature for both countries. And I draw the example of Nordic Falls, which is in the southern province of our country and shares with Zimbabwe. You find from both sides there are facilities. When you walk to the boiling point, you come out, you are able to sit somewhere, you have your drink, you have your pool, you can go into a pool and relax, you go into a hotel and sleep. That's what you want to happen, to see here in Kalambo, from Tanzanian side and Zambian side.
On his part, the president of the Chamber of Commerce, Industry and Agriculture in Zambia, Christopher Mengosi Ame, together with his business colleague, have done tourism in Kalambo Falls.
So what we are saying is both countries have to work together to make sure that this thing becomes a hive of activity, both on the Zambian side and on the Tanzanian side. And not only that, Kalambo being the second highest or deepest falls in Africa and the 12th in the world, it's just high time that we thought of doing things together. And it's the high time that we did this thing in the SADC, in the COMESA, and also in the Eastern Africa community. We do it together to make sure that we drive the benefits of this natural resource. It's a wonderful thing.
A delegation from Zambia has been present in the Rukwa region, attending an investment conference forum. They have visited various economic attractions in Lake Tanganyika. Jose Acheo, TBC News, Rukwa.
Thank you very much, Jose Acheo from Rukwa region. Before we wind up our local news tonight, let us now have a look at today's exchange rates according to the Bank of Tanzania, BOT. Don't miss TBC News every weekday to know all the latest in exchange rates. Time now for all the latest in international news. And here is international news as compiled by Ramadan Mpenda and read by Esero Mafuru.
At least 17 people were killed and 106 others wounded after rockets hit the market south of the capital city of Sudan, Khartoum. The fighting between rival military forces comes as truce talks mediated by the U.S. and Saudi Arabia collapsed. The U.S. says both sides have violated the ceasefire, adding it remained ready to help mediate a truce when they are serious about ending the violence. The ceasefire had allowed some urgent aid to reach around 2 million people, but the continued insecurity had prevented delivery to many more and blocked the operation to restore essential services. Thus, the largest number of people killed by a shelling in an attack around the capital since fighting between the Sudanese army and the paramilitary rapid support forces RSF started on 15th April this year. Senegal opposition leader Ousmane Sonko has been sentenced by a court to 2 years in prison for corrupting the youth. Also, the court in Senegal has acquitted Sonko, a candidate in the 2024 presidential election, of rape charges and ensuing death threats. Sonko, who is 48 years of age, was accused of raping a woman who worked in a beauty salon in 2021 and making death threats against her. The case has triggered a violent protest with Sonko supporters denouncing the charges against him as politically motivated, which the government and the justice officials reject. And President Emerson Dambuzo Mnangagwa of Zimbabwe has announced that Zimbabwe will hold its presidential and parliamentary elections on 23rd of August this year. Mnangagwa, elected as the president in 2018 after a military coup that deposed President Robert Mugabe in 2017, is seeking a second term in office. The Southern African country battles the raging economic crisis. Apart from the presidency, the election will also decide the composition of the 300th city parliament and a close 200 local council positions. The election proclamation comes amid parliamentary debate over electoral reforms.
That was international news. Now in sports news, the Tanzania Swimmers Association chairman David Mwasioke says the junior swimming competition, which kicks off this Saturday, aims to develop talents of young swimmers as to build competitive national teams for various competition. Mwasioke adds that despite infrastructure challenges, they will continue to cooperate with various stakeholders to promote the game in the country.
Infrastructure, we are going to partner with strategic stakeholders, including the government. We are going to come up with the proposal and business plan that will also assist and seek funds coming from the private sectors as well. So our main focus is first to ensure that swimming as an association is being well structured and is being run professionally so that we can create confidence for the stakeholders to come and support swimming as a sport.
The Tanzania Swimmers Association continues to set strategies to improve various swimming infrastructures in the country in order to promote the game. Miss Tanzania 2022 Halima Ahmed says she is ready to promote all tourist attractions in Tanzania during Miss World competition to be held in Dubai later this year. Speaking to TBC News reporter in Dar es Salaam, Miss Tanzania calls on Tanzanians to vote for her.
And so far I can say I am prepared, I have been prepared, I am ready to go and represent my country in the world stage. And lucky enough, I've already been to Dubai, I have met the ambassador, I have been to Abu Dhabi, and they have promised me full support. Not to forget the support that I'm getting currently from Miss Tanzania organization, as well as all Tanzanian citizens, and the sponsors that has been sponsoring Miss Tanzania, they're also the ones sponsoring me, so I am more than glad to say that I'm well prepared.
20 contestants from different regions will start training ready for Miss Tanzania 2023. That's the sports news. Now, before we conclude the news bulletin tonight, let's take a look at the weather forecast for the next 24 hours.
Hello and welcome to the next 24 hours of the forecast, starting tonight at 9 p.m. From Tanzania Meteorological Authority, my name is Ramadan Umari. Let's start with the wind flow pattern for tomorrow. Wind is expected to flow at 30 kilometers per hour over the entire coast in the Lake Tanganyika, while over Lake Victoria and the Lake Nyasa, wind speed is expected to reach 20 kilometers per hour. And rainfall models are showing signal of rainfall over few areas, especially along the coastal areas. And tonight, few areas over Tanga, Dar es Salaam, Pwani, together with Unguja and Pemba islands, are expected to feature partly cloudy condition and the light rain showers, while the remaining regions are expected to feature partly cloudy condition. And tomorrow, areas especially over Kagera, Mara, Tanga, together with Unguja and Pemba islands, are expected to feature partly cloudy condition, thunder showers over few areas and sun period. While over Dar es Salaam, Pwani, Lindi and Mtwara regions are expected to feature partly cloudy condition, rain showers over few areas. Over Kilimanjaro and the Morogoro region are expected to feature partly cloudy condition, light rain showers over few areas and sun periods. And the remaining regions are expected to feature partly cloudy condition and sun period. And now let's have a look on the next 4 days of forecast over some regions of our country. And that is all for today. Thank you for watching and goodbye.
And that marks the end of the news bulletin for tonight. Don't miss our next bulletin in Kiswahili at 11 p.m. My name is Nasa Kingu. On behalf of the whole team, we wish you a good night.